If you like dark and moody projects and Tim Burton movies, you're going to love this collaboration that I'm doing with other creators here on YouTube. I chose The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Hey, I'm Emily. On today's video, we are going to be doing Sleepy Hollow DIY themed projects. We're going to have a lot of fun making them. They are going to be dark and moody, a little bit creepy, but they're going to end up looking like high-end decor, but on a budget. You're not going to have to spend much because you can use thrifted items or items that you already have in your stash. Anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to use basic products, and let's go ahead and get started. Project number one is this Victorian boot. Now, some of you may like it the way it's painted, and quite frankly, it actually grew on me after a minute. However, for this Sleepy Hollow inspired Halloween, that just was not doing it for me. The tag says $4. However, at this particular thrift store, items are always 50% off. At first, I was going to leave the inside of the boot the white glazed look, but then I decided to go ahead and paint it, but I did not film that part. I wanted to enhance these boots, the buttons on the boots, with rub and buff, and so I grabbed my rub and buff and I decided to go one by one until every button was covered with the rub and buff. If you've never used this product, it's a great product. It gives a nice, like solid gold color. A lot of times you can paint it with the gold and then you'll buff it off, but on this particular project I wasn't going to do that because it would smear all over the boot. I then decided to use my metallic bronze fusion mineral paint to go over the buttons so that they had a little bit of a layered look instead of just flat with rub and buff. And that's it. That was a very easy project. So I went out into my yard and I cut some of the hydrangeas and I placed them into the boot. So what do you think of the final reveal? There's something about Sleepy Hollow that just screams lantern. So when I found these lanterns for $5 each, I just knew I could make them over. Not that there was anything just terribly wrong with them, but they're pretty frou-frou for me. So anyway, just wait and see what I do to make these over. This is an easy thrift flip. All I had to do was get out a can of my Rustoleum flat black spray paint and just give it a couple of quick coats of paint. This was a very simple project, but it makes a big difference, and now I can use these lanterns year round. If you're enjoying these projects, give me a like. Our next project is using an old thrifted book. So I took this book, it was kind of beat up originally. It's a fairly newer book, but it was just looking kind of rough. So I decided to give it a couple of quick coats of Cathedral Taupe from Fusion Mineral Paint. Now I have pulled out a picture of this wild horse. It's just on copy paper, and I'm taking a paintbrush that is just dipped in water, and I'm just rubbing it along the edge, or kind of painting the water along the edge so that I can eventually tear it, and so that the tear looks kind of jagged and old instead of a crisp cut. I'm now just tearing it so that I can get a little bit of a jagged edge. However, it's not quite cooperating. It's like as much as I would like it to. Some areas it actually is a little bit straighter than I want it to be. I think if I was trying to get it straight, it would probably be jagged. Oops. And now I'm just placing it on the book. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put some Decoupage Gel on the book. I'm just going to give it a quick coat of Decoupage Gel from Fusion Mineral Paint. Now, in case you don't know, I am a Fusion Mineral Paint dealer, and so I have a website where all of these products from Fusion Mineral Paint can be found on my website. That website is www.jbowenandcompany.com. If you make a purchase from me on that website, I will get it packed up and I will send it over to you. If you're in Georgia, I have a booth in North Georgia, in Alto, Georgia. That's right north of Gainesville and just south of Habersham, Georgia. And it's at Barrett's Antique Mall. I have now placed the paper on top of the book, and then I used that brayer, which I sell those as well, to roll the decoupage or to roll the paper flat. And I'm not gonna lie, that thing really works. Before I'd always use my hands and it works okay, but that brayer, it really does an amazing job. It makes it flat, no wrinkles, and it's pretty awesome. So if you don't have one of those and you'd like to purchase one, you can do that as well. And also, if there's any other products that I mentioned, like the rub and buff and those kind of things, I'm going to put a list in the description, and you can click on those links of all the different products, and if you'd like to purchase those, you can. And of course, I would receive a small commission off of the purchase of those products. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied saying products today, but I am. Anyway, what I'm doing now is I'm taking my black wax and I'm just coating the book. And then after I coat the book, I'm taking my paper towel and I'm just rubbing it off. I wanted to make it look a little bit aged. And also the white area where the paper tore, I wanted that to be dark so that it would just look a little bit more aged and older. After you watch my video, you can go over to the playlist and take a look at all the other creators that have participated in this challenge. I know that some of them are doing Beetlejuice and other of Tim Burton movies, so I think those will be fun for you as well, so you can check them out. Now for the final reveal. What do y'all think? Hey, if you are enjoying my projects, these Sleepyhollow DIY projects, I think you would like some of the other ones that I've some of the previous videos that I've made. I've made quite a few Darkandmoody videos. And if you like my content, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so you get notified when I have an upcoming video. Now I have another print. This is a Darkandmoody Headless Horseman Sleepyhollow print that I printed offline or online. Anyway, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this frame that I had in a previous booth or in a booth previously, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just clean it up, cut out the photo, and then just frame it. It's very simple, but it looks really good and high end. See how good this looks? It looks high end and it looks like a painting. And the thing is, you can pick up these frames from your local thrift store for probably just $1 or so. Next project is this girl and this boy busts. Anyway, I picked them up. I paid $5 each for them. They look like they had been painted with like a chalk paint, but really not a good job, and they were all kind of scuffed up. So I decided to give them a couple of quick coats of paint of the Cathedral Taupe. I thought that that would make them look nice and kind of give a little bit different look than just plain white. So what I was going here with these projects, I thought that I would go with what might have been in the houses or the style of the time of Sleepy Hollow. And I thought, you know, all these things would be probably something that people would have had back then. And so that's what I was going for. And so I took the Cathedral paint from Fusion. I gave it 2 good coats. It was really easy and really fast, especially on this chalk paint type material. It went on very easy. And Cathedral Taupe is basically that. It's just basically a really light tan, just a neutral. And I've used this paint on a lot of different things. These paints, they last a long time. Even those little testers, they last, you know, on a lot of projects. You'd be surprised how far this paint goes, but I've used it on quite a few things. So if you're interested in trying out Fusion Mineral Paint, you should give it a try and let me know what you think. So now I took out the brown aging wax, or some people call it antiquing wax, and I'm just going to cover them up with this wax, and then I'm going to set it aside for a second, and then I'm going to do the same with the boy one. And then after I have covered them up, I am then going to go back with a paper towel and wipe it off so that some of the dark wax is left in the crevices. And here is the finished project. What do you think? I think they turned out pretty cool. They're kind of a little bit spooky. They have a little bit different look than just the plain white. I like how it enhanced, how the wax enhanced the details of the face, and especially around the collar on the boy. And in the back, you could really see it too. It really gave it an aged, older look. And if you like this project, would love for you to give me a like and let me know which one of these projects is your favorite. The next project is this metal container that I'd had for many years, and when everyone was painting things white, I had painted this container in with white chalk paint, but I couldn't get good coverage and it just really didn't look good. So I saw it the other day in my garage and I decided to use it for this project. So I took out my Rustoleum black flat spray paint and I gave it 2 good coats of paint. I then took out my fusion metallic paint in the color bronze and I decided to paint it. I knew that's what I wanted to do from the get-go when I saw this piece in my garage. Anyway, there are 2 ways I could have dealt with this. I could have either just dry brushed, so the paint just hit the raised areas of the container, or I could have painted it and then wiped that paint away. Well, when I first put the paint down, I put it on too thick, so that kind of ruined that dry effect technique, which I wasn't even thinking about doing when I first started. So I just went with it, and I gave it, basically a solid coverage, and then I just wiped it away. And now I have taken out my black wax and I am just covering the piece with the black wax. It just richens up the piece and makes it look a little bit more aged. So I'm just rubbing it on and then I'm just taking a paper towel and I'm wiping off the excess. I think it ended up turning out pretty good. I like the detail in the piece and I think you could store all kinds of things in this container year round. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video and these dark and moody and creepy high-end decor items and you don't want to miss out, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't checked out my latest DIY Moody videos, I'll have one linked right below, right there in the comments. Go ahead and check it out.